So today I want to talk to you about simultaneous equations. Now we are going to look at two different methods of how we solve simultaneous equations, and we're going to keep it pretty simple because we're 5.2. So simultaneous equations, the goal of it is to try and find coordinates where two different equations meet. So if I were to graph them or type it into Desmos or GeoGebra, whatever they are called, and I type the two equations in, they're going to cross at some point. And my goal of simultaneous equations is to find the coordinates where the two equations meet. So I'm looking for an x value and a y value because a set of coordinates is x and y. So here are two equations, and I'm going to start by teaching you the elimination method. So the goal of the elimination method is to cancel something out. So I need to have a look at my x's and I have a look at my y's, and one of them, in order to use the elimination method, one of them, they need to be matching. So I've got 2x and 4x. They don't match. I can't do anything with that. But here I've got 3y and 3y, or 3y and minus 3y. So they match. So I'm going to be able to use the elimination method. Now with the elimination method, I can either add my equations together or I can minus the equations one from the other. So let's start with adding. If I add this equation to this one, let's see if one of my components gets cancelled out. Or eliminated, I should say. So 2x plus 4x gives me 6x. 3y plus minus 3y gives me 0y. You can't have 0y, so boom, eliminated. Is equal to 19 plus 11 gives me 30. Cool, one of my components has been eliminated. Happy days. Elimination method. Okay, so now I've got an equation here. I've got 6x, the y's gone, but it's equal to 30. So I don't like the way this looks, so I'm going to rewrite it. So I've got 6x equals 30. Now I can solve this. I want to get x on its own, so I have to divide both sides by 6. That's cancelled out, so I've got x is equal to 5. Awesome. I have half of my answer now, because remember, I'm looking for x, but I'm also looking for y. So I can't stop now, I'm halfway. So now what I need to do, now that I've got my x value, I'm going to pick either this one or this one, whichever one really floats my boat, and I'm going to sub this x value in the place of the x, and that will help me find the value of y. Okay, so I'm feeling this one. I think I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to sub x equals 5 into my first equation. So I'm going to call this one number 1, and I'm going to call this one number 2. So now what I'm doing, let me write this out, because I need more space, always needing more space. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sub x equals 5 into equation number 1. Now when it comes to simultaneous equations, because when you're doing them in your book or on your page or whatever, it's going to take up a lot of space, and you might end up needing to do what I'm doing, where you've got to draw an arrow and start it, continue writing it down the side. It's really important that you write your steps, because whoever's marking your paper needs to know what crazy business it is that you're up to, especially if your handwriting isn't neat or your steps aren't clear to follow, or if you sort of go back and change things. So it's really important that you write your steps when it comes to simultaneous equations. So I have literally written on the board, even though I've said it out loud, I've written it on the board that I plan to sub x equals 5 into equation number 1. Okay, and I labeled my equations number 1 and 2. And the reason why I did a dash or 2 dashes is that way I know it is that I'm labeling it. Some people do dots. Some people do doesn't matter, whatever floats your boat. I do the 2 dashes because that's what my teacher did. Anyway, not important. So I've written my next set of instructions because now I'm subbing x equals 5 into equation number 1. Now equation number 1 was 2x plus 3y is equal to 19. Okay, but in place of my x, I'm putting 5. So it's 2 brackets 5 plus 3y is equal to 19. Okay, see what I did there? In the place of the x, I put the 5. Now I can solve it. So 2 5s are 10 plus 3y is equal to 19. How do I move this 10? I need to minus 10 from both sides. Minus 10, minus 10. They've cancelled out, so I've got 3y is equal to 19 minus 10 gives me 9. Okay, so now I need to split my 3 and the y, divide both sides by 3. They've cancelled out, so how many 3's go into 9? 3. So there is my other half of the answer. But, yes, I found x and y, but I need to write a concluding sentence to show that, yep, I found my two answers. So I'm going to write, therefore, the answer is 5, 3. All right, there's my final answer. It's written in coordinate form because that is what you're looking for when it comes to simultaneous equations. You are looking for a set of coordinates. Yes, technically my answer is right if I just leave it like this, but it's good form to put your concluding sentence so you don't miss out on any marks. So there's our elimination method. Let's do one more of those. Okay, so here I've got another two set of simultaneous equations that I need to solve to find a set of coordinates x and y. Okay, again I'm going to be using the elimination method. And now I know I'm going to be using that method because if I have a look at each of my components in my two simultaneous equations, I can see that one of them is matching. My x's match, okay, because I've got a 3x and I've got a 3x. My y's don't match because one's a 5 and one's a minus 2. So it's my x's. They match. So I can do the elimination method. Now, I said before, with elimination you can either add your equations together to eliminate one. So let's see if that would work. 3x plus 3x would give me 6x. So I must not be adding this time. I must be subtracting. So let's try. 3x take away 3x gives me 0x. Perfect. Okay, so first I'm going to label my equations. Okay, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going equation number 1 minus equation number 2. That's my first step. So I'm writing it out even though I forgot to do that. Awkward. Forgot to do that on the previous example. Do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to be writing my steps out as I go so that whoever's marking my work or judging me right now, watching this video, knows what I'm doing. Okay, so 3x, I'm going to be minusing, minusing, and minusing. I'm taking each component away from the previous one. So let's see, I really should have left myself some more space under the thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll draw my line here. Okay, so 3x, take away 3x gives me 0x. Boom, eliminated. 5y minus 2y. Two negatives equals a positive, so I get 5 plus 7y. And then 32 take away 4 gives me, that'll give me 28. Okay, cool. Now I can solve this equation. I've got 7y is equal to 28, so I need to divide both sides by 7. They cancel out, so y is equal to 7 4s are 28. Cool, all right, so y is equal to 4. So I found half of my answer. I know what y is equal to. So now, because I need some more space, I'm gonna go up here and continue on. Now that I have this answer, I'm gonna take this answer and sub it into one of these. Now, it doesn't really matter which one. I think I'm going to go with number 1. So I'm going to sub y equals 4 into equation number 1. So now, I've got equation number 1 was 3x plus 5y is equal to 32. I'm subbing y equals 4 into that, so 3x plus 5 brackets 4 is equal to 32. So now, I've got 3x plus 5 4s are 20 is equal to 32. How do I get rid of this 20? I have to minus it. Minus 20. So now I've got 3x is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 3. I get x is equal to 4. So there's my other half of my answer. However, I don't stop there. I have to write a concluding sentence. Therefore, my answer is x comes before y, so it's 4, 4. Cool. And there we go. That is how we do the elimination method. Now, it's important that you label your simultaneous equations, and it's important that you write a sentence or like a little explanation before each of your steps to show what it is that you're about to do next. So whoever's marking your work knows what you're doing. And it's also important to write a concluding sentence. I also find it's really useful to put boxes or like highlighting or something to show when you get a particular answer, so it doesn't sort of look just all bleh. Okay, anyway, simultaneous equations, elimination method.